Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to Your Celestial Podcast. I am your host, astrologer and soul centered transformation guide, Lumi Pelinku. And this is the space where astrology meets soul embodiment, a journey of healing and awakening and remembering your inner starlight. Together, we will explore how to align with your cosmic blueprint in order for you to live your most vibrant and radiant and fulfilled self. I am so excited to be with you here today because this is the very first episode of this new journey. And creating this podcast has been a dream in the making, a sacred space for us to explore the wisdom of the stars, the language of energy, and the power of self discovery. So, whether you've been walking with me for some time or you're just discovering this space, thank you so much for tuning in and beginning this journey with me. If you are tuning in from Spotify or YouTube, I'd love for you to subscribe so you can journey with me each month as we explore astrology and healing and how to live in alignment with your soul's rhythm. Your presence truly helps the space grow and reach more light seekers like you. And today, I am so excited to be exploring with you the astrology of November 2025. This is quite a month. It's the three key terms that I have come up with for this month is revisit, reflect, and reclaim. It's very fitting because we are in the heart of Scorpio season. And if you probably know about the astrology jargon of such, Scorpio season's all about intensity, transformation, things where we need to really, really unearth the things that have been left unsaid, unspoken, or things that have been left to mystery. So this is the month where things will very much trickle into the surface. And in the first half of this episode, we're going to walk through key celestial transits that shape this month's story. Then, in the second half, I'm going to share a personal reflection of mine and also draw an oracle card just to help us anchor into this information. And you'll leave with anecdotes and information to help you navigate this season and as well as the month ahead with more precision or more ease and flow. And I can't wait to unpack this whole month with you because Scorpio season happens to be very powerful. And just to like unpack it all together with you, before we begin, if you ever wanted to truly understand your birth chart or to see your gifts, the patterns, or your purpose with clarity, just to understand yourself on a deeper level, I've created a free, beginner friendly, soulful e guide that helps you decode your chart and deepen your relationship with the stars. It's called my Astrology 101 ebook, and you can download it using the link in the show notes. And it's just my gift to you. If you ever want to deepen your connection with self, it's a great starting point if ever you want to follow along each month as we explore the stars together. And you'll work with your birth chart in real time with me. So download it. Be sure to consider it because it's a wonderful outlet for you to learn more about yourself and as well as all the meanings of what I talk about in each month. I want to make it easy for you. I want you to first take a deep breath with me. And if you're driving, please do this in a safe zone. Don't do this while you're driving. Okay. But you can listen along. Okay. Before we begin, in terms of navigating through the astrology of November, I want you to take a deep breath or at least consciously notice how you are living in this body right now. Honor it, give it reverence. Breathe it all in, starlight. Breathe in the golden light. Imagine it cleansing all of your cells, your energetic fields. Imagine it circling all around you and clearing away anything that you don't want in your space anymore. Since we are like navigating Scorpio season, it's all about release. It's all about noticing the things in our lives that is weighing us down for some time. Now, don't look at it with resent. Look at it more with just give it gratitude for all the lessons it presented for you. Everything you've been building up in this journey. Scorpio season is meant to help you release with surrender. and also to make peace with it, peace of things that are beyond your control. Now allow the starlight to really wash through you and release all those themes now. Express it with grace. Welcome the new, or walk more firmly with intention. That's how you begin. That's how you begin Scorpio season. That's how you walk through it. And now, just remember to root yourself down as you listen to this message coming up. We are going to begin the month of November with a potent full moon. It's very interesting how we begin each season with new moons and full moons. Now, in this case, the full moon is the starting point in our journey. We have the full moon in Taurus on November 5th. Very powerful day because it illuminates themes such as our values, our emotional security, and also it highlights where we stand in the realm of relationships. This lunation brings a sense of closure, and it also asks you, like, where have you been settling lately? And are you ready to stand firm in your worth? Now, full moons are all about like the full culmination of what you built within the last 6 months. So in this case, from May of 2025 of this year, leading to now in this moment, start reflecting as to what you've been building towards. Is it working for you? Does it align with your values? Does it make you feel light? Does it help you tap into your well-being or understanding of how you are deeply invested in your plans and motions? Now, the fixed energy of Taurus is all about releasing control themes, also living more present in the moment. It's not a phase for you to take firm action or just completely bury things that you don't want in your space anymore. It's more reflecting and understanding what you need to generate within self. In other words, you have to like start studying how you've been living in this life. Taurus is all about becoming more present in the moment, whereas Scorpio is about the deep transformations that we need to undergo in order to make space for more fruitful experiences, which is what Taurus offers for us. So just ask yourself, like, where have you been settling? Because the ruler of Taurus is actually Venus. And luckily for this full moon transit, Venus is in its own dignity sign, Libra. So it's going to remind us of how we can restore fairness and harmony within our hearts. It's an ideal moment for release rituals. It's beautiful too, because whenever Venus is in Libra, you have more of a calm mind around this time. It's more calm. You'll understand more of like how you are actually living in your relationships. Like, do you actually experience fairness in your relationships at this time? Libra will give you that taste of how you can find the fairness and harmony within these realms. And it's more like a mirror in a way, because what you see is also what you get, you know? So, release rituals such as cord cutting, you picture a thought, you picture yourself living through this certain kind of experience. Cord cutting is an act where you visualize this act itself and you're consciously severing it, you're consciously cutting it. And it helps you make peace with the idea of moving forward in your journey. And full moons beg that. Full moons are very much about like the conscious will to make it happen. And it's not an overnight thing. It's more about the energy. It's how you align with this act in order for things to unfold. And you'll have a better understanding as to what you need to do to move forward. Now, there's another practice that you can try. I love water soluble paper. You can write a letter. You can like write a letter on this paper and you could either bury it in earth or you can actually release it in the water. You could release it into the ocean. Write a letter to yourself, write a letter to a situation that you need cutting from, you need to release from, and let it go. And then allow all the information to just line up and you can make sense with it on time. It's all patience, really. Like whenever we have full moons in fixed signs, such as Taurus, it's patience. It's all about patience and observation here. It's not an action filled kind of full moon here. It's more about observation and processing. We'll leave it with that. And we move on to November 6th. A lot of action happening this little window of time. Venus just entered Scorpio. It pulls love to the surface and it helps you pivot your focus in terms of the depth and the realness of love. It also helps you note your emotions. They could intensify around this time, especially around the realm of relationships. But the act of honesty even deepens here. It helps you also recognize how true your connections are and the intimacy of it all even transforms too. So you become much more intentional here. So fixed signs are all about intentions, but especially with Venus in the sign of Scorpio, Venus helps us take a deep dive in terms of recognizing the deeper parts of ourselves in the realms of relationships. It helps us pay attention to how we are living this path. And also, if you're not in a relationship, this is how you view yourself. It's how you excavate the love from within self. And if you're having a trouble with love in any certain way, Venus and Scorpio transits are meant to help you transform that, help you become much more comfortable with being single, becoming more comfortable in terms of transforming yourself in order to attract more deepened relationships. And as you invest time in exploring those parts of you, you'll see more reels coming up to the surface. It's not about the mystery. I mean, there is a little bit of mystery, but that's the shadow side of Scorpio. More about you investigating how you are and how you show up. If you show up with truth and honesty, the other side of the coin shows that the other partner or how people will approach you will be a lot more authentic too. So that's Venus and Scorpio's lesson for you to learn. This transit alone, it just exposes what's real. And it's also important for you to not seek validation anymore in terms of the other. It's more about being comfortable within self and self validating and honoring your emotions, honoring where you are right now. And that is your message of Venus and Scorpio, and enjoy it. So we now move to November 7th. Telling you, this is very action heavy month already. Uranus has been retrograde for some time. And we had a little taste of it being in the sign of Gemini for these last couple of months, few months. So Uranus re-enters the sign of Taurus. So whenever retrograde happens, the planets go between signs, like the sign before. Usually retrograde is about like sluggishness. So we're actually getting a taste of what we've been experiencing since 2018. It's been ongoing for a long time with Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So, with it re entering the sign of Taurus for its final wash or final entry, it is this final wave of insight regarding money, values, and how we seek out stability. Uranus could be a little earthquakey sometimes. So, we've had that taste of it for several years now. We're used to it. And it's not to say that we're going to go through a big earthquake again when it comes to our finances and values and such, but it's a revisitation of what we've learned these last several years. I want you to reflect on what habits or attachments you've outgrown since 2018. I want you to ask yourself if you have been uncomfortable with the idea of change, you have to ask yourself what's slipping through the cracks. Like, if you have been trying to build something for some time, what isn't working? What needs reviving? Because Uranus wants you to step out of your comfort zone and try to innovate whatever it is regarding your structures. So take your time and like learning like how you have been building your life so far Because Taurus is all about the values. It's our structures, it's our stability, it's our approaches with finances and things. So Uranus wants you to revamp this. And with its final wave in the sign of Taurus, it's going to create much more stability as you lean into innovation and reinvention, defying the norms, really, if you will. So it's not to say take a chance right now. It's more about taking note of what excites you. Like if you are trying something new that you've been wondering about some time, Uranus's re-entry into the sign of Taurus will help you explore that deeply. So these next several weeks into months will help you explore that deeply, and you will make it happen as you become more adventurous in your approach to things. Think of it this way: even if you're dropping a project or dropping a lifestyle of some sort, you're not necessarily starting over. You're actually starting from experience. So take note of the experiences that you've had these last several years. And even with Uranus's entry into Gemini, it gave you a little taste as to like what you could bring into the table, information of how you can revamp those structures that you've been kind of like dabbling into for some time. If you have been feeling like a lack of footing. So this is your last chance in terms of making this happen. Be brave, be bold, and start researching as to what will be working with you and trust it. Okay. And that is your message for November 7th. And now on November 9th, Mercury retrograde begins. Don't be afraid. It happens every couple of months. I know you're probably biting your nails right now, as everybody seems to whenever they hear about these things. I want to reassure you that Mercury retrograde is a chance for you to just kind of slow down. We've been ongoing for a long time. Whenever we keep going forward in motion, we kind of hit a brick wall because our systems are kind of on overdrive. With Mercury retrograde happening in the sign of Sagittarius, this leads to delays, delays with travel. It could be miscommunication, it could be blurred boundaries, especially with the realm of family dynamics. And the reason why that is because Mercury in Sagittarius, for one, does rule the themes of traveling and expansion and trying new things. Absolutely. But within the family dynamics, Jupiter comes into play here. So, Jupiter in the sign of Cancer has a direct link to our dealings with the emotions, our dealings with safety and comfort, and also our connections with family. So, all the conversations that could lead to miscommunication or blunders of any of that kind, it has a link to the family systems here. So, try to develop the patience, develop observation, also develop empathy and holding space for others to communicate here. And if you feel like you have to have a say, try to stand back and just observe like the content of your message before you state it, because reflective listening is such an important thing to have in your line of communication here, and especially during Mercury retrograde. Reflective listening is one of the best active practices for you to bridge misunderstandings and also to avoid any blowouts if you have any, or any friction in the realms of who you're communicating with. So these next 3.5 weeks, develop the space, develop the conscious awareness, and also give yourself time to rest. Like if you have been working on projects or if you have been trying to develop these ideas and you've been hitting a brick wall, well, Mercury retrograde will give you a time to just hit the brakes and just relax into it. Don't launch anything just yet if you're planning to. It's the best time to just review all your systems, really review all the messages that you've been building some time and refine it. And you'll actually come out in the clear and be so appreciative in terms of you waiting. It's so worth it. I promise you. Just have to trust it. Okay. And that is your message for Mercury retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. And these next 3.5 weeks will be a little bit kind of have a little bit of hurdles and hiccups here and there, but just develop patience and again, patience and observation. And now for November 11th, we have Jupiter in retrograde right now, Another retrograde happening right now. But let me tell you, the outer planets usually have retrograde periods and they're longer term, as opposed to Mercury retrograde, like what I mentioned before, that's usually shorter transits. Whereas in Jupiter, it's the next few months. But with Jupiter stationing retrograde in the sign of Cancer on this day, it turns our attention to our emotional landscape. And I want you to ask yourself, what has brought you joy lately? And what memories still ask for your care? This is like a really nice time for you to engage in more inner child work. So again, it's about reflecting back. Retrograde's about you revisiting, revisiting moments in time that you've been experiencing things. And with Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, Cancer is all about emotional needs, also our inner selves, things that we haven't been tending to and taking care of. And self-care is especially crucial for now. Because I feel like this last half of 2025 has been complete fast forward motion. You're not alone because we have been like all systems go for a lot lately. But with all these retrogrades happening in the earth signs and water signs, it's about recalibrating our feelings towards structures, our feelings towards emotional needs, all of those things. So I like to say the month of November so far is all about just reestablishing the self, but also building more on a fresher set of soil. So if you have been like propagating yourself, I feel like you've been a little like dislodged lately and a little ungrounded, untethered, this is your chance to just take care of the soil that has been growing all of your crops, literally, literally or figuratively, I should say. But I want you to just reflect on that, like reflect on what has been joyful and become more present in your process to life and reconnect with that inner child. It's like you have to start factoring your sense of joy because that becomes the sacred medicine here. The universe also just mirrors this vibration. So as you tend to those, tend to that garden of yours, the garden of your soul, um, it will help you become much more open to chance, open to serendipitous events. Just trust and approach this life like a child, especially around this Jupiter retrograde phase. So nurture those moments that help you light up. And you will see how everything lines up into place. Even your creativity will skyrocket around this time. So start going through the reflective phase and take rest and have grace for the delays because it will lead you to wherever it is that you're meant to land. So trust it. Okay. So that is your message on November 11th about the Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Cancer and enjoy it. So now we move on to November 18th, where Mercury continues its retrograde backspin into the sign of Scorpio. Communication will turn much more introspective, calculating, strategic, and it helps you to look deeper in terms of the context of your messages and even how you view yourself. So, as Mercury moves back into the sign of Scorpio, expect all of the communication factors to be more introspective, more reflective, more strategic, and much more in depth. So, as we have been going through the miscommunication and the blunders when Mercury was in the sign of Sagittarius, it's much more dialed down and reflective here. So it's about seeking clarity through the quiet. So if you ever feel like you are going through highs and lows and you just don't know where you can anchor yourself, this Mercury retrograde stage in the sign of Scorpio is going to help you root down your thoughts and also observe your inner self of how you see things in the world and also how you view yourself. And it's not necessarily too emotionally intensive, like it could be if ever you go into heated arguments or miscommunications of some sort. But this is more through like your inner projections. That's how the Mercury and Scorpio plays out. So start observing. It's an observation heavy kind of month, as you can notice. So the best course of action here is one, reflective listening, big one, especially with Mercury and Scorpio. But also another thing, it's more of like how you're internalizing your information. So if ever you're feeling like something's heavy, dragging, or you feel like you just can't stand things in your life right now, start analyzing why. What's the root triggers of this? And where is it leading to? If you feel like you're living your life right now like autopilot and you're just constantly deprecated, or you're just constantly questioning why your life just keeps turning and spinning into the same kind of results, well, Mercury and Scorpio's message for you is to start um, internalizing and also observing like how you're internalizing information. So it's teaching you the importance of observing how you keep expressing your energy. So Scorpio energy is more about like how our spirit self is being expressed through the lines of emotions. Yes, but it's also in terms of how we react to it. What do we need to transform in terms of our inner dialogue? So just start analyzing what words feel very heavy, like what's creating the most weight. Because Scorpio season is about like helping you factor in your intuition. Allow that to lead instead. And then you're going to start beautifying your inner self. You're going to beautify your inner emotions, inner thoughts, inner feelings towards self. And that alone will transform how you approach this life. So stillness will be productive. So just keep going with that because Mercury retrograde is not anything about taking action of any sort. It's more about inner reflection. And just remember that stillness is golden sometimes. It restores the wisdom that you need to hear. And that is your message about Mercury going back into the sign of Scorpio on November 18th. All right, so now we meet with the new moon in Scorpio happening on November 20th. Very exciting time because we'll feel a little bit of a breath of fresh air here. People love to talk about like new moons as being like initiation points. This one will be, but it's a different kind of context because Scorpio, as I mentioned before, is about like unearthing the secrets, unearthing things that have been left unspoken, or it's been kind of like hovering in the air. While it's a deep dive time for you to figure things out here. So this one is a very auspicious one because this new moon will be making contact with Neptune, the planet that has to do with dreams, higher realms of consciousness, transcendence, and also themes of illusions. So when the Scorpio sign touches upon Neptune in the sign of Pisces, because Neptune is in a water sign. So with these two factors coming together, the moon and Neptune, whenever they work together, just so much beauty and magical experiences. But there's some kind of also very romantic tone that comes into play here. So it's a little it could be idealistic around this time, could be hopeful for a lot of people if ever they want to plant seeds in terms of creative endeavors or becoming much more invested in terms of changing things around, like you become much more leaning towards of making this happen for yourself. Now, the game changing part of this new moon transit is with it posing Uranus. I mentioned Uranus before, right? Uranus changing into the sign of Taurus. It's an anaretic degree of 29. So this is a very powerful one because whenever the moon and Uranus like oppose each other, it's on the opposite ends. Um, that denotes change. So it denotes something that you need to really shake up in order to make things happen. So remember, as I was talking to you before about reevaluating the structures, your values of how you're approaching life. Now, the new moon is about approaching this with the need to transform it. So it helps you reconnect to your soul level of awareness, also how you are living this life in alignment with your emotional truth. And also, it helps you reconnect with your spirit self too. And your dreams will become much more lucid around this time too. So I would definitely recommend doing more dream journal working or at least ask for messages before you go to sleep at night. It'll actually help you figure out whatever it is that you feel is stagnant in your path. And if ever you felt disconnected lately from the universe, this lunation is going to help you become much more aligned with the messages that you've been missing. So set intentions not only for what you want to create, but it's how you wish to feel. So this frequency will shape that. It'll help you shape your intentions, also the way you're manifesting lately, because it's all about your internalized self of how you're viewing the world and how you are approaching this life. So you're going to go through like a complete soul makeover in this respect. So don't make the changes just yet. It's more about just analyzing your internal landscape. And you'll have the big reveal as to how you will be making those changes happen for yourself in the next few months. So enjoy this transit and rest and relax, and also allow your creativity to guide you, and especially your intuition. Okay, so now on November 27th, this is good news. Saturn will be forward motion in the sign of Pisces into Aries again. So, this is going to be bringing clarity in terms of your long term goals and emotional boundaries. It's time to trust your progress. And you'll also start sensing the fog lifting if ever you've been feeling uncertain about your path. The great news is Saturn will be a lot more clear. You'll feel a lot more clear, you'll feel a lot more certain, and you will also line up better with your soul's fulfillment. And whenever Saturn's in the sign of Pisces, it happens every 29 years. So this is our last phase of experiencing this kind of energy, because Saturn's all about maturity. It's like how we have been living this path through intentions and structures, and also like it's like our official adult kind of energy, with it being in the sign of Pisces too. It's about like what your soul's been living. We've been paying attention to how we've been aligned with it. If whether you have been living the true path that has been feeling like bringing you feelings of certainty and feelings of complete understanding as to what you've been heading to, this Saturn transit will help you with that. And now that it's in direct motion, you'll have more clarity in regards to decisions. They'll start feeling more solid now at this point. So now that we have completely matured through this experience, you're more than equipped to actually make your dreams happen. So commit to your path and hold compassion as to what you felt like has been left undone, because this is your chance to actually make things happen now. And enjoy this transit. Now, great news. Mercury finds clarity. On November 29th, Mercury is officially direct. And oh my gosh, after the last couple of weeks, you probably have felt like a little bit fogginess, intensity. It's been a whirlwind, that's for sure. But the great part of this is that communication begins to clear, your plans resume, and any misunderstandings will begin to dissolve. So it could be a good time to just build bridges from here, instead of allowing things to linger. So it'll feel a lot lighter. You get to celebrate now for all that you've been learning. Give yourself a few days before making major commitments here, because the clarity that you have been feeling that you've been lacking these last few weeks, it will definitely begin to unfold much more gently. And you'll start to make sense as to what you need to do regarding to ideas, or what you need to talk about with your dear ones, or of any sort. Give it about a few days and you'll start making sense to what you need to talk about. Write it down too. Like you could write a letter, you could write a text message, you could write things in terms of what you need to say, or whatever ideas that you've been allowing to circulate for some time. It'll start to land as you start to jot it down, and you'll make sense of it too. Okay. So enjoy this Mercury direct. It's great news. And this is your message for November 29th. And now finally, on November 30th, love begins to expand again. Wow. After these last couple of weeks with Venus in the sign of Scorpio, we get to breathe a breath of fresh air with Venus entering Sagittarius. Great news. So we begin to close this month with our attention towards love and freedom, laughter, and like exploring, expanding beyond our horizons here, and regarding like how we approach relationships here. So after a few weeks of introspection, mystery, or intensity, well, this will bring a fresh air and also more optimism in terms of your connections here. It's not as intense anymore. You get to relax and also just explore love with an open heart here. So say yes to things that uplift you, and it uplifts your spirit and helps remind you of how expansive love could be. So if you haven't been in a relationship for some time, like you'll feel a lot more breath and understanding, and much more of this like detachment of love. And it's not to say like love will be scattered in any way, not at all. It's more of like love will be much more free. You'll feel much more free and untethered, and you'll feel much more inclined to explore different flavors of how you've been approaching love lately. And the same applies to people who are single. Like you feel like you're still seeking your other half, your soulmate. This transit will help you become much more adventurous in your approach to things. So just start investing time in elevating your heart, expanding it, and exploring other things that have been kind of left in the back burner here. Allow yourself to feel love in everything you see and feel. And it could be through actions, it could be through words, it could be through how you view yourself and all those things. Be adventurous. And if you have been living this certain pattern that has been not working for you, Venus will teach you the importance of elevating that, becoming a better version of yourself in this respect. So start seeing life through like an open field, and you get to mark it however you feel that sees fit. This is your message, how Venus and Sagittarius will manifest for you. Now that we've walked through the transits, let's open the heart space. Each month, I would love to close our forecast with a moment of divine reflection, such as like an oracle message to help us embody the energies that we've explored. And soon I'll be pulling from my own very own creation, the Celestial Awakenings Oracle deck. And it's a fusion of astrology and color therapy and crystals that are designed to help you connect with your soul's rhythm. It will be available for pre-orders on November 5th. And I cannot wait to share it with you on this podcast. Like, I can't wait to have it on my hands to share with you. But for today, I would love to draw the energy oracle cards as a bridge between where we are and we are headed. Let's draw a card to see what comes through in terms of guidance or messages that we need to hear regarding our next steps with all that we've heard and explored and uncovered. Okay, look at this. Now we got the fifth chakra. I'll talk to you about that with what it means. Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel has to do with our voice, our thoughts, our ideas. Remember, I was talking to you before about how in the month of November, it's all about how we view yourself, how we view ourselves, how we approach this life, our inner dialogue and inner feelings towards life. This whole month is about you revamping this part of you. And the fifth chakra has to do with the voice. Also the ears has to do everything in terms of like our connection to the messages that we've been creating, how we've been articulating it, how brave we are in terms of expressing ourselves in the most authentic way. And if ever you've been feeling like the communication signals have been confusing and overwhelming in every sort, start viewing how you see yourself. Start viewing of how you are projecting yourself to. Gabriel loves to beautify messages. If ever you're having miscommunication or conflicts of any way, Gabriel will give you that bridge of patience, also that bridge of understanding whenever things are out of sorts. Or if you feel like you're going through writer's block, if you're going through any sort of lack of inspiration, this is the one energy that you're meant to work through. So, with blue energy, blue. So, we connect with Mercury. Mercury. Mercury is about the way of how we communicate our thought process. It's also our line of intuition. It's the way we receive it, the way we receive messages between realms of life. I love working with Mercury a lot because I talk a lot and I talk every day and we all do to some extent. I also write a lot in every such way possible. But whenever I feel like I'm going through a complete stagnant period, I feel like I can't get anything out, or if my words are jumbling up, I like to focus on blue light. Also yellow. It's lemon yellow. You see how on this card there's a yellow and blue color? With these two color combinations, it actually helps reinforce the messages more clearly. Start like anchoring in your body if ever you feel like you're having a lack of understanding of something, or lack of patience for messages, or if you feel like you're a little jumbled up and a little like spirally and tornadoly, like, with Mercury, allow blue and lemon yellow color to come through the crown area. Visualize it going all the way to the throat and allow it to circulate around. This is like an energy healing process that I do often. And it's very helpful for people who feel a lack of certainty in the context of their messages. Helps you become much more reflective, more understanding, also more patient. If ever you feel like you're jumping too far ahead with your words, this exercise will help you become much more anchored in your voice and more brave when it comes to the way you express it. So if you feel like you've been a little backlogged lately, or uncertain, or doubtful of your messages or projects of any sort, this message just shows that you just need to start healing that. As I said before, this entire month is all about you just revisiting things that have been working and have been working. Because with all these retrogrades happening at the same time, it gives you opportunity to reflect on everything you've been building, what has been working, what hasn't, and also ways of how you can make it better. The periods of rest is so essential for you to make something even more brilliant than you thought possible before. That is when you're guided by spirit. You're guided by your higher conscious, your higher self, your divine self, your soul centered self. It's through you standing still. It's okay to stand still. It's perfectly fine, because something new and even better is waiting for you around the corner because you're doing that. It's ever like whenever we're going frantic and just keep going forward motion, you don't even know where you're going. Because whenever we are like in that kind of intense moment, intense feeling, and impulsive energy, I can relate with this. I've been there before. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling because you feel like you need. That's a scarcity mindset. Reflection is how you attract. I know it sounds like a paradox, but it's true. Um, these transit periods are crucial for you to live more in line with your body, aligned with your spirit self. And retrogrades are not bad. They are great teachers when it comes to you refining and crafting to something even more magical than you thought possible. Just have to believe and just follow it and just live in line with your spirit self more. So, with the fifth chakra, fifth is all about the throat, as I said before. This is about you listening to your higher consciousness, your intuitive self, and also how you are articulating your thoughts and feelings and how you view yourself. Clear that out. So, Scorpio season is about you learning the importance of clearing away the cobwebs of chaos, cobwebs of intensity, cobwebs of things that have been beneath the surface. Start observing things that you don't want in your space anymore regarding messages. It's a big one for you, and a big one for this entirety of the month of November. So remember that and take this with you. So as you move through November, remember that the stars don't dictate your destiny. They illuminate your truth. And your awareness is your greatest power here. And if this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe on Spotify or YouTube and share this episode with someone who might need a little cosmic light today. Every follow, share, and review helps this sacred space continue to grow. And don't forget to download your Astrology 101 ebook. The link is in the show notes. And it's your doorway to understanding your chart and aligning with your cosmic flow. And I want to say thank you so much for listening to this podcast, the first episode of this podcast. And I can't wait to grow more with you. So spread the message, circulate this podcast wherever you can. And I would really appreciate your support by leaving a rating in the Spotify account, please. That would be great. And I appreciate your support as always. And I can't wait to see you again. So until next time, keep shining, keep trusting, and remember, you are celestial.